Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for game two between Team Infernal and Team Cloud. And despite some changes in pace from Team Cloud, mainly from Rosethorn and Captain Shrimp, showing a little bit more gusto and flair with some of their mid game leads, unfortunately, wasn't enough to really translate it for a victory in their favor. And really, the star of the show, if we have to be honest here, Smacks, it was Tony Top on that Camille.
Yeah, getting the solo kill on Niles at level 2, and he just never stopped from there afterward.
Hmm.
His team fight engages on this Camille were top notch. Of course, it's quite easy to do so when you've got Copy in your back pocket. Always reliable Copy going in with that hero's entrance every single time. The team fights were just immaculate, except for a few wrenches that Cloud were able to throw into the gears of Team Infernal's death squad that we've seen throughout these 4 series. I'm rather surprised at how effectively they were able to do that in the mid game here, Rafa, but not enough to net them a victory, and they're going to have to be trying again as we do get into draft for game 2.
Curious to see what the adaptations will be coming in from Team Cloud. Their backs are the ones that are against the wall on this one. Lilia is going to be the first ban off the table away from Tomio. So far, so much the same. I'm curious if Team Infernal are going to go with the same straight 3 top lane bans focused at Niles, Gangplank, Kale, and Renekton.
Yeah, of course, one thing you have to keep in mind when doing that is you are leaving up both Lucian and Samira. And there it is. They're taking away Samira, not wanting to give that over to Andy Bendy. The champion is very strong, as we did see. I believe the only player to play it so far actually has been Shoryu, and it was against Team Cloud. So Shoryu knows the power of it more than anyone at this stage of the tournament, and he's 100% win rate on it as far as I can remember so far. So definitely going to want to get that off the table, and there's a Lucian banned by Team Cloud.
I will say that Spawn has picked up a couple wins with this Jhin. I mean, between him and Shoryu, they've really been the only ones that have made it really work so far in this tournament. But on the backside, Team Infernal have pretty much never lost a game. So
Yeah.
the way they're kind of rampaging through these series is very terrifying. Now, Team Cloud, no more bans to go. The Renekton being taken off the table. We're going to see a Leona first pick once again. Last time they got it on the first rotation when on Ren side, and this time they just want to keep Auto on a playmaker.
Really trying to give him some agency in this series, and I can't blame them because the main thing that we've seen be a problem for Cloud is their late game insurance, is their late game shot calling and mental. They haven't been able to find any play across their entire team that has led them to a secured victory in these series. That is one of the reasons why they are 0-3. So giving Otto a champion that he's very comfortable on makes a lot of sense, especially one that he can sort of shot call and set the pace on in the early game. But you do have to keep in mind that Tomio is now just going to be on his pick of the litter when it comes to junglers. Of course, Lily is off the table, but that leaves Graves, and he is more than happy to take that one for himself again.
And not only he's taking it for himself, he's taking it away from Rosethorn, who, we have to give a little bit of praise, as every time he's been on the Graves, it has been, so far, his most consistent pick when it comes to junglers. But this time, Rosethorn is going to pick the opposite mirror matchup. And now, I'm really scared for Team Cloud, knowing that every time that Rosethorn has been on something that requires plays being made early, and not necessarily farming as fast as other junglers when it comes to Graves, Nidalee, and Lilia. Not to say that Kindred doesn't benefit from farm, but just the clear speed is definitely much slower compared to those other picks. And Captain Shrimp's going to go back to that Syndra as well.
It does leave Copy with the option of counterpicking, and he's going to go with the Zoe. Now, Copy is just so insane on this Zoe pick here, Rafa. We've seen it so many times across the entirety of the summer, rivaled only by that of Five Fire. His Zoe is crazy, and it's been forged in the fire of Five Fire, playing against it so often, too. They both have known each other to play that champion all throughout, and if you've been paying attention to Twitch chat and Twitter, you'll know that Five Fire has nothing but praise for Copy and Shoryu on this team, of course, as they were former teammates. So I think Five Fire is a fan of the Infernal squad. Makes sense with a name like his being rocked in League of Legends. So, but we are still seeing that Infernal are going to be trying to ban away that bottom lane as Andy Bendy does have a pretty deep champion pool. I don't want to get rid of that Kai'Sa as it is a counterpick to this Ezreal, and maybe this time they're going to ban away the Karthus. Of course, they missed a ban in game number 1, but Karthus is still on the table for Andy Bendy if he wants it.
Shift priority of Niles wanting to pick up a more physical damage oriented carry. And maybe Team Infernal are already kind of reading that situation, saying, you know what, we're not really scared of the Karthus, but we don't want Niles having Jace. And I have to say that the amount of respect that Team Infernal does give to Niles, despite the amount of mistakes and unforced errors he has made throughout this week, they know that even though Niles has been showing a lot of lows, they do not want to roll the dice for when Niles actually comes up on top, when the RNG finally comes in his favor and he finally executes everything he needs to be. Because if you've watched his solo queue streams over on twitch.tv/Niles, you'll see how much of a force Niles is to be reckoned with.
And when Niles hits the Yahtzee, you will know. He will pop off. He will kill everyone. He will be Captain America, throwing that shield every which way. And as Peter Parker once said, that does not obey the laws of physics at all. Neither does Niles when he's that far ahead. So you do not want to get him on one of those champions, the Jace, the Renekton, and the Gangplank banned away. But he is still going to have to blind pick his champion into that of Tony Top, who does have a rather deep champion pool for carries of his own. The Jax, most notably, is still up, and Tony is very comfortable on that champion. So would expect that Team Cloud don't want to pick a champion that is not very strong against the Jax. Niles on the Akali again here, Rafa.
Oh, wait a minute. You know, hang on. We'll have to wait until the timer counts down. Until then, we can talk about this Akali pick because it is something that, you know, we're a little strange, or maybe, okay. Now, all right, I agree with this. Now, if we think back to summer of 2020 this year, we look at the roster of Radiance, the time between Andy Bendy and Cal. Anytime that they were able to stomp lane, it was with this Kalista. But I know Smacks, Tony Top bringing out the world's 2020 flavor. Thanks to Nuggery, it is going to be the Lulu Top for Tony Top.
And he forced it to be nerfed too. So this is a nerfed Lulu Top. The Glitter Lance does not pack as hard a punch anymore, but it's still a very nice champion to be picking against assassins. Of course, you have the polymorph to make sure that the ramping up damage and burst that comes from Akali gets put to a halt, and all the shielding, all the extra bonus HP coming in from Tony Top. And while this isn't what I was expecting him to find a carry champion to pick against this Akali. This is still an effective spot to be in for him, and I really like it in the grand scope of the rest of the team here too, Rafa, as they do have quite a nice composition to keep the entirety of Cloud at range. Auto locking in this Leona very first thing for Team Cloud. It's going to have such a difficult time actually getting into a team like this.
Yeah, once Auto tries to engage with the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare, they have ways of disengaging. You have the smoke screen, you have the quickness, being able to charm up any engagers and divers that are trying to go into the backline. And we already saw the Ezreal being locked in for sure you very early on in the draft, so he's going to have a lot of safety. Copy probably is the only one that's going to be susceptible to some of these early dives, as Zoe doesn't really have mobility. She has a teleport, but she's going to blink back, so you know where Copy is going to end up. So it's really imperative on him to be cautious about his spacing, his positioning. He doesn't want the position police coming to arrest him and punish him for his over aggressive steps. But when we look at in terms of the scaling, as you already mentioned, Smacks, I love how the game will start to traject over from Team Infernal, because Tony Top with a Lulu, one of the beautiful things, and as coming from a jungle main myself, I love seeing it because this is what's going to happen. After a Lulu finishes the Athene's Unholy Grail and the Ardent Censer gets those 2 item power spikes, Tony Top, he's done with farming. He's banned. no longer gets farm. You know who picks up that farm? It's the Graves. And Tomio, who was starting to look pale in comparison to Rose Thorn on the Graves in the last game, now will be looking to start outpacing him in farm. And he's going to be able to accelerate his gold lead because I'm guarantee you that as we start getting to the 15-minute mark, once those two first support items are completed for Tony, Tomio is going to be taking every single side lane farm, and he's going to be accelerated in terms of levels and experience.
Yeah, Tomio exchanging his bow and wolf bites, I guess, for a shotgun this time around, swapping up those champions with Rosethorn, and he's got the flash on the Graves this time around. Not the summoner spell that a lot of people have been taking recently, as Graves does like to take things like the Ignite, maybe the Cleanse. We've seen some teleports recently too,
Dude,
which I do
Graves
not
Might
condone.
teleport is slats, bro. That's some
It's
sick
funny.
technology.
It is definitely funny, but I personally am good with the old reliable of the Flash. It gives you everything that you want in a champion and gives you a lot of sustain and safety throughout a fight if you need it. So I like that he's gone for this option, as this is, as you mentioned, sort of a scaling composition for Infernal that they've got for themselves. So much poke on their side, and it only gets worse as the game goes along for Team Cloud, because again, we're seeing they don't have a front line. They have this Leona, but past that, all four other champions are squishy. They just have this Lamb's Respite to try to keep them alive. Of course, Tomio did a phenomenal job of doing just that on his team in the previous game. But it's going to be on Rose Thorin to take that mantle upon himself and do that too, as he's now on this Kindred. As we're going to be getting into the game rather shortly. We have a brief pause, but just you wait. We'll be right back with the game.
Technical difficulties for the players just reconnecting. Thankfully, I don't. Well, hang on. I'm gonna knock on wood there just to make sure I'm not jinxing anything. But earlier in the week we were experiencing technical problems on a larger, grander scale. Really out of our control. And once again, it's another thing that is out of our control. But I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. Just a simple disconnect that we'll be able to get back into a game. And just as I say it, you will see it on screen in just a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen, as we are finally back into Game 2 for Team Infernal and Team Cloud. Team Infernal, the ones with the game in their favor. It's going to be up to Cloud to see if they can even the odds with their backs against the wall and bring it to a Game 3. Otherwise, going to be walking and closing out today with a 0-4 series record here, Smack.
Really important for Team Cloud to continue to try to impress everyone watching these games, as everyone is just watching like a hawk to see what these 5 Team Cloud members are capable of. That is the purpose of this event here, Rafa, is everyone is trying to make sure that people know who they are come next time that they are considering what players they want on their Academy or LCS teams. As we're seeing Team Infernal drop that vision for Tomio, recalling for the sweeper. Rosethorn doing the same. Even Otto doing the same, actually, as he's going to pick up a sweeper for himself too, getting some more vision denial and maybe attempting to keep Tomio out of their jungle. They really do want that to happen, as Rosethorn on this champion. We've already highlighted in this series how important it is for Kindred to get these marks for her hunts. And Tomio can be doing the same. It might not get a tangible benefit other than golden experience, but Graves really likes golden experience.
He does, Smacks, but I want to point to something. Look at bottom lane. This is a chickens man game. If you look at it, they're both waiting for the other bot laners show up because they're trying to wait and look for a cheese pick. But Andy Benny's the first one to show, and now Shady and Shoria will be able to walk back. I thought something more hilarious and more explosive was about to happen because they were both waiting for the cheese. But with that information, I think both Team Cloud and Team Infernal can conclude that, yeah, bot lane did not leash, so we really don't know where the other jungler started here.
They can also conclude that both bot laners are lactose intolerant, not going for any of that cheese at all. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, getting some trades. Copy and Captain Shrimps trading a couple of those auto attacks. As Copy has already pushed in this wave quite heavily. He's already picked up all of the first 2 waves and getting that ward down. Oh,
that caught me by surprise.
Wait.
I just have to say, I gotta give my appreciation for that. That was so damn good. You were so deadpan about it as well. Oh, you, man. Oh my goodness. Oh. But as you were saying, Smacks, so far, very passive games. So far, Niles not getting solo killed so far, but he is... Oh my god. I'm going to hold my breath here as Rosethorn is actually going for a gank on the copy, but will get slept by the Sleepy Trouble bubble. Captain Shrimps does get a couple more auto attacks in onto copy as Rosethorn does expend some of his health resources in exchange for copies. But wait, where did he get all that health from?
He's got the corrupting potion. And I assume that means that he has the Time Warp tonic. It does heal you instantly when activating that one. He's picking up some summoner spells and items off the ground with the barrier, with the GLP. That's the Z Omega Lol E.
Yeah, Z
oh
Omega
my
Lol
goodness.
E. All right, Captain Shrimp's barely dodging out on the CP Trouble bubble, but Shady almost looking for a potential dive under the turret with the Battle Dance into the grand entrance, but decides not to go for that play, as if he were to get scattered to the weak under by Captain Shrimps, that would have been bad. But speaking of bad, we got a skirmish in the river. All hands on deck, folks, as we got an all-out scrap. And a flash comes in from Otto, is going to lock down Copy for a potential kill, but Andy Bendy is there. We didn't get to talk about it much, but this was what made Radiant successful in their few wins during the summer. Andy Bendy on his special Callista.
And getting first blood to boot there, Mark. Drop the gauntlet in the draft, making sure that he gets that early priority on this champion, and he got it. He may be down in CS against Shoryu's Ezreal. He may be giving up some lane experience and gold there, but still, that's got to feel really good flashing forward and getting that kill onto Copy. And speaking of Copy, he's got to be kicking himself for that play, man. He got the GLP slowdown onto Captain Shrimps. He doesn't have cleanse on the Syndra. All he had to do was shoot that Sleepy Trouble bubble a little bit to the right, and that would have been a kill for Team Infernal. So a little unfortunate right there, whiffing out on that spell, but it's all right. Still got plenty of time left in this game to prove his worth on this Zoe, as the trades in the top lane are getting very antsy, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm very worried for Niles.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Smacks, a little bit of the anxiety started creeping up the back of my spine every time he was sub 200 health. I was like, oh god, please, Niles. Please don't get solo killed by a Lulu top. I know that Lulu top is a bully, but like, just please survive. But we don't want to show any bias. It just, we want to frame it this way. It's not that we have bias towards certain players. We just want to make sure that players are playing at their best. And we know that we've seen better performance out of this. And so for the sake of all the players' future and wanting to ensure that they can get to Academy, that the LCS orgs will take amateur seriously, and we want to show that, hey guys, you don't need to continue importing talent from other regions. You can win, and you can win in the long run if you just take a chance and invest into the local grown talent that we have here. So we just know that Niles can do better than this, and if he's gonna lose, we want him to lose at least while performing at his best.
That again, Mark,
Rant
you could just import perks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no comments, Max.
All right. Understandable. But yeah, anyway, I fully agree with you, Mark. I mean, Niles, we're definitely fans of Niles. We're fans of all 20 of these players, to be completely fair to everyone. And exactly like Mark said, we want to see all these players perform admirably, and it's just that Cloud haven't quite been able to strut their stuff yet in this tournament so far. 0-3, already looking like it might be a 0-4 based on game number 1, and we really want to see them. We want to see them at their best. You put it best. You put it perfectly. As the flash comes in the bot lane. Oh my word, Andy.
Well, that's definitely not the best for Andy Bendy, but it is just as expected for Shady, as once again, always finding the mark in the aggressive engage play with Shoryu. It's going to wrap up a kill.
And the flash play from Shady, knowing exactly the limits of his champion. That is precisely what you need to know when you're playing a very mobile champion like this Rakan, and like the Ezreal too. You need to know when you can go in and when you need to save your spells to go out. And for Shady, so consistently across Honda Scouting Grounds 2020, he has gone in and it has worked out. Now buying his tier 2 boots immediately on that first recall, already making his way around the map. We know how devastating this guy's roams can be, and he knows it too. He's already trying.
With those Swifty boots in hand, it's kind of been the new mobility boots for the past few patches ever since Swifty boots got a little bit of extra love from Riot Games. Nice little buff coming towards their way for the total movement speed that you're getting at all times, as well as the slow reduction from it. So Shady, as you said before and you pointed out in draft, as we saw in game 1, Shady is definitely at its best when he is unlocked, when he has the freedom to roam around the map looking for plays and setting up the rest of his teammates for success.
And he's landing with a perfect 80 carry player and champion to do it. Shoryu, I haven't seen him a single time drop in these 1v2 situations. Keeps holding down the fort when he needs to and when his team needs him to, too. He's just stuck there. We do see that he might end up being in a 1v3 situation, however, as Rosethorn on this flank, but Shoryu, wise as ever, just uses that arcane shift over the wall and not taking any damage.
Team Cloud are definitely investing a lot more into the bottom side for Andy Bendy, and I do like this adaptation. I love that they are playing around Andy Bendy's Kalista, as this is one of his best champions, and we're about to see why. Team Cloud looking for the lockdown onto Shoryu and Shady. But they're dancing around, they're buying time, but it's not going to be enough. Shoryu, no more heal, no more flash, as no more escapes away, and Andy Bendy picks up his second kill of the game.
Rosethorn, Andy, and Otto not satisfied with that initial play going haywire. Shoryu does use his arcane shift to get over the wall, but it's a very long cooldown early in the game. We get punished by that ultimate. But speaking of ultimates, Niles.
Tony Soft still has Wild Growth. Perfect execution has to be used to escape, and it's a goon squad on the Niles. And at this point, Niles is probably thinking to myself, what else is new? 3 people being sent for me. You hate to see it.
That's a deep sigh right there, as Tomio up there again is going to recall, denying the extra play from Rosethorn, who's a little bit late to the party in the top lane because it did go for that play bot lane. But honestly, I don't even know how he even gets that excuse, as Shady's the one who's setting it up for Tony Top in the top lane. Shady continues just be all over the map, Rafa. Again, going for these cross-map exchanges and engages. A success yet again. I don't even know why I'm surprised at this point. Shady continues to impress.
If you take a look at gold advantages as we're clocking in at the 10.5 minute mark at the moment, we know that just looking across the board, the gold advantage here for Andy Benny is the only one that's really putting Team Cloud in any sort of lead. Almost 800. He is close to securing that Blade of the Ruin King first item, but he has already secured tier 2 boots, which gives him not only more attack speed, of course, but also a higher, or what is it? Higher hop distance?
Bigger jumps, yeah.
Bigger jumps. Big jumps. That's right. He's getting ready for basketball.
That's Jordan's.
I like that. You know, the brown bags is just, you know, normal bare brown bags, and then into the Air Jordans.
Exactly. And with the
are we allowed to talk about different types of landing shoes? That's probably not the. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It's all in good fun. As we saw Andy Benny and Otto try to go for a little bit of engage, but that Fate's Call doesn't really result in anything, as Shuri and Shady are pretty safe on the backside, but Rosethorn might have overstepped his welcome into the jungle. Tomio is going to lock him down. Lands Respite. It's not enough, as Tomio finally locks him down.
Yeah, Rosethorn getting a little jealous that he's not able to take any of these dragons in this early game. Tomio brings his entire team again. And here's the entire team that I just spoke of, going under the turret.
And look at this, the amount of patience from Shady, not even using the grand entrance to engage under the tower. He uses it as a third method of escape, just ensuring that he can take the turret and allow Copy and Tomio to put the damage down.
I am a Rakan main myself, and I wouldn't have done that. He's just too good. I didn't even see that play in my head. I was like, okay, yeah, you're going to knock up the Syndra. I get it. But exactly as you said, he knows his limits so incredibly well on this champion, Mark. I'm taking notes. I'm writing it down. I'm checking it twice. This guy, I'm on my way to Challenger if I play like that.
Oh my gosh. That's why Shady is at the scouting grounds and you're not, Smacks. You know, you still got a little
see
way
me
to go.
2021 with this recon play.
Although, you guys should check out Smacks on his board. It is pretty sick. But we might have another River Skirmish coming in as Copy is already using the flash that he picked up a while ago with that Spell Thief. And force Rose Thorn out of his jungle, picking up his own flash as well. And now Copy's able to steal another Summoner Spell and keep it under his wing. As Team Infernal, once again, the Death Squad, as we have so aptly coined it in Game 1 and throughout the series. Tomio is going to have to get out of here, but I don't know if Niles is really in position to punish. He does have perfect execution, but remember, this is Lulu top. He's got Wild Growth, so he's got quite a few spells and utilities to be able to dissuade and prevent any deaths coming in.
Otto and Andy Bendy are arriving in this top lane, and Tony top, I think he's dead.
He's got Wild Growth, but Andy Bendy's got the spears, and yoink! He pulls them out with the Ren.
Oh.
Copy, looking for the flash. He picks up another one, puts Niles to sleep. It might not be enough, but he picks up a Blade of the Ruined King for the slow from the item. Z Omega Lil E, as you said before, Smacks, just hashtag Zoe things, but no kills will be had by either squad. Niles will have to force the recall.
You gotta remember that all of these turret platings are continuously going into Andy Bendy. I believe that was his 8th one that he's picked up, but plays across the map.
Wait a second. Oh no, wait, Niles just teleported to bot lane and he's getting engaged on, but he manages to survive a 3-man assault, whereas Copy is the one that gets picked off on the top side of the map.
Team Cloud, they're bouncing back into this game. They've evened the kill score. They've evened the turret score. They've evened the gold too, Mark. They're doing exactly that. They're bouncing back in this game. They're finding these picks, and a lot of it is just because Andy Bendy is so strong on this Callista right now. 3 kills on it. He just can't stop. He's wherever he goes. It's just like a trebuchet that Cloud are pushing around, but Andy Bendy, he's got his Air Jordans. He's going at the speed of sound. He's hopping around. He's a very mobile trebuchet.
He's already 3 daggers in his pocket, so I wonder if that means we're going to be seeing a Runon's Hurricane or maybe a Phantom Dancer. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a Gwinsu's Rageblade, as this would have kind of overstepped the amount of daggers that he needs to make that completion. In time, we will be able to figure out, but I want to take a little check here as the 15-minute mark. Looking at both teams, Team Infernal, Tomio, rocking 3 kills, Yuma's Ghostblade and Warrior's Enchantment. Where you look at Team Cloud, it's Andy Bendy with the 3 kills. And this is exactly what we were predicting was going to happen. Andy Bendy on this Callista, this is one of his pocket picks all the way from Team Radiance, and what gave them those wins, whereas Tomio, even though he has been kind of a questionable factor, and we have trying to determine whether him being on a team so stacked like Team Infernal is what makes him look so good, or if he's able to prove his own merit through his own plays, and so far, he's making a name for himself.
He's gonna have to continue doing so as the Dragon is up in 15 seconds. Cloud really want to deny this one away because it would be the 3rd Dragon in a row for Team Infernal, and it would be their namesake too, as Copy trying to land the poke. That's what this team is built to do, but there's the engage.
Oh yeah, Otto is able to get over the wall, gets the soul spell down on a Copy, but I don't think there's just enough damage in the tank to be able to take him down. And Rosethorn gets charmed up by the quickness from Shady. Shady getting critically low, but the Lance Sight will provide him one last saving grace, and the Wild Growth is enough to save the support for Team Infernal. Niles jumps in with perfect execution, but he gets whimsied on top of it. The double for Tomio. Gonna be adding 6 kills total to his name, and climbs the gold lead to a solid 1,000 over Team Cloud.
Disaster strikes yet again in these mid-game, late-game team fights for Team Cloud. They just cannot seem to get it together. They need to find their target priorities. They need to find their team positions, but it's just not possible for them time and time again. And it's Tomio 6-0-0 on the Graves, who keeps popping off throughout Scouting Grounds 2020. He keeps showing that even though he hasn't had any team experience, even though he was the least discovered player coming into the tournament, he is the biggest name for the junglers at the end of the day. He keeps proving it. He's still doing it in this game too. We'll see if he can take the Scuttle Crab, but even if he doesn't, man, whatever I just said still is true.
Something we we're all surprised about when we were hearing of talks about Tomio. Because when in comparison, we were pretty much used to the fact of saying that, oh, it's NXI. That's the jungler that we have to watch out for, because we already saw how well he was able to acclimate 200 Thieves next towards the tail end of the summer season when Kenvi and Tenacity did get promoted to the Academy roster. Ooh. Now, hold that thought. Copy might be in a bad spot here, and Shady is... He thought about it. He's like, you know, can I save my mid laner? And the question is a hell no, as Shady is going to have the grand entrance of the wall, and Tomio should have a quick draw anytime soon. But he says, you know what? I'm fine. I've got Rift Herald recall.
Yeah, just look at all those control words for the blue side. Cloud dropping a ton of them on this top lane, and paid off. They got copy. And they would have potentially gotten Shady and Tomio too if they didn't have so many dashes on these champions. A little unfair how mobile they are, but still, they use those to get out this time. Copy, not so lucky, will drop. That's his third death of the game so far, but he's still popping off when his team needs him to. Still 5 assists out of the team's 7 kills, and a lot of those are setting up for his jungler again. Speaking of junglers, Rosethorn charmed up.
He does have flash. Will he pop it? Finally gets it down, but Shoryu gets a flash of his own and follows up with the Mystic Shot to the back. It looks like Rosethorn was not expecting it and was not able to pop the Lamb's Respite. Maybe if he did, Otto and Captain Shrimps were close enough that they could have turned the odds, but, you know, it's hard to call on that one as Niles. Oh no, Niles. Thankfully, Niles has got pretty sick reactions. He's able to shuriken backflip away from harm, as Team Infernal will be able to secure control of this bottom jungle.
And they're still setting up these bush plays here too. Tomio has this Rift Herald, knows that he can drop it and take this turret with ease, but sights are set on Niles, it seems. 3 members of Team Infernal trying to corner him, but the turret is still there, and looks like Shady's going to be backing up, still trying to get priority in both mid and bot lane. Tony Top seems to be doing a great job by himself right there, so they'll just putting more pressure in the mid lane as Captain Shrimps with his blue buff has infinite wave clear, it feels like, until that does run out, and dodging away from the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles again. Still very safe on this Syndra.
And so far, Tony Top's still taking the side lane farm, but Tomio's coming in for a pretty much a gifted kill. But look at this smack.
No.
I want to see. Is there any vision from Team Infernal? I don't think so. And Otto's tanking it up, and Rosethorn will be able to come in, and they can always trade turret aggro. But Team Infernal, they don't know. They have no idea.
Cloud, I think they're getting away with this. There it is. They got it.
there's the Mia ping. They're like, hold up, wait. What the? How did they manage that? They pulled the hoodwink over the eyes of all of Team Infernal. They thought they were pretty content with being able to get a free kill on the Niles and pushing in the second tier turret, but it's Team Cloud that pull a 180. They pull an audible, and now with the Baron on their side right at the 20-minute mark, right on spawn, this is going to hugely deter the momentum from Team Infernal.
That's the late game's team fight decision. Well, it wasn't a team fight, but team decision that we were hoping to see from Team Cloud. Really hoping that they would step up their game in that department, as it seems like that's where they've been lacking the most. And that Baron is an indication of it. They're finally showing us that they have stuff in the tank. They can go for plays like this when it matters the most. And Andy Bendy with this Callista is the one to start that one off, as he does go for the Rage Blade, still just with some more daggers in his back pocket. He was going to go for those anyway, it seems, as this would be the soul for Infernal. If they can pick that one up, roast. Oh, that's not how you want to start this exchange.
Oh, Rosethorn's going to have to be popping his Lamb's Respite pretty early on, but it's a beautiful Solar Flare engage coming down from Otto, and Nas might have been able to find the back flank, taking a lot of damage on the backside, but looks in for the assassination on the copy. Captain Shrimps is able to follow up as well with a beautiful Scout of the Week into Unleashed Power. Shady and Tomio are low on health bars, and it's just Tony Top, and miraculously, it's only, I should say, Niles is the only one that falls from Team Cloud. 4-on-3, health bars are extremely low, but Team Cloud smacks. Is this the same Team Cloud that we saw from day 1 or day 2? Because it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't. Copy just got ahead of himself with the damage that he was trying to get onto the members of Team Cloud, not respecting the engage range of Auto. He lands that Solar Flare on Zoe where he knows that the champion is going to end up after the portal jump. Lands it dead on, it even gets another member in it at the same time. Both Copy and Shoryu falling means that Team Infernal have lost their backline. They lose all of their poke damage and they cannot contest on that dragon. Andy Bendy still putting on a show for us here, Mark. He is coming in clutch, and he might lead Cloud to a match point against the first place team.
This is something that Team Mountain should be taking notes on as well, because I look at the compositions and the teams from, or the rosters between Cloud and Mountain, and I think there are some similarities. I don't want to say that Niles and Gibble are in, similar veins in light. Gibble is definitely known more for his tank play and Niles more for his carry play. But when we look at the bot lanes, Andy and Bendy and Spawn have been forced or always been playing weak side bot lanes. They never have been the primary focus for the teams to support and get accelerated in the first few minutes of the game, in the first 15. But this time around, the one time they get Andy Bendy accelerated, it looks like it's working out for them. But just as I say it, Team Infernal are quick to shut down that theory as they're starting to push into the base of Team Cloud, already taken down Niles. The middle inhibitor turret will fall, and soon the inhibitor should fall as well.
And just because Team Cloud were able to get that Baron doesn't mean that they are guaranteed to get the objectives with it afterward. Only got that one turret in the top lane, but it wasn't even due to the Baron. It was because the rest of Team Infernal had their sights set elsewhere. They get that mid lane inhibitor just 24 minutes in, and they might get Andy Bendy too.
Oh, and he doesn't have any summoner spells. He's going to try to hop over the wall, but he doesn't get a chance to. The quickness charms him up and gives the shutdown over to Tony Top. Otto still also on the run, but Captain Shrimps doesn't have Unleashed Power quite yet. Wild Growth comes in preemptively just to make sure the Copy can have enough health to survive. Might be cut off for the rest here as Rosethorn is trying to buy some time with the Lamb's Respite. Niles comes in with the perfect execution, looks for one more on to Shoryu, and it's going to be off the tail of the Shuriken backflip, but Tomio might have something to say about that. He's got the crit, he's got the damage, he's got the lethality, looking to put one more shotgun. Come on! Tomio, goddamn! You are so good on this grave!
He's 10. No, he's not done yet. He's going for a 11th. Just picked up by the Yordle, and he does get one. Does he get shut down? He does.
Oh my god. What a hell of a scrap in the top side.
11 kills on this Graves. He's gonna build an Infinity Edge as his 4th item, and he's been able to do this because of the support backline of Shady and Tony Top backing him up, making sure that he can keep up his trade. It's working so well, even though the positioning errors are still coming in from Copy and Shoryu. We saw that they have died again at the beginning of that fight. It's still Tomio, even without the help of his more veteran mid lane and bot lane as far as team play is concerned. Tomio's still able to put it in the work even after they're dead, because he's just so far ahead in this game, Mark. He's almost Flame Horizoning Rosethorn.
Did we not say that this was going to happen, Smacks? Did we not say that once he got his 2 items, that Tomio was going to start taking a majority of the side lane farm? And look at how much Tomio's been able to accelerate himself. Almost 80 CS. We're approaching Flame Horizon levels in this jungle matchup. Something that Rosethorn dreamed that he was able to reach, but he had not been able to really accelerate by the time the mid game came to a close, and it was all about the late game decision making in game 1. Now Team Cloud facing up against a Team Infernal with Infernal Soul on the line here. Infernal Soul point almost ready to be secured by this squad. And now it's going to be imperative on how the engages come out. Niles is on the backside, is buying time with the Twilight Shroud. Gonna force Tomio to blast cone over the wall, and now the dragon has started up. Two-shot barrage comes in, trying to dissuade the rest of the members, and Rosethorn just gets deleted. There's no chance. The Infernal Soul has been secured by Team Infernal. It is the writing on the wall. It is as predicted. Andy Bendy and Captain String trying to do the best they can. They're getting a bunch of damage down on the Tony Top and the rest of the front line for Team Infernal, but it's not going to be enough. Team Cloud, they run for the hills, they scatter like the wind, and it's only Captain Shrimps that is left to die. And Team Infernal, they only need to send 2 to finish the job. The rest of the members were gonna go for the base.
It's only fitting that Team Infernal would close out this series with the Dragon Soul for their own team. And it's on Tomio again. Securing these objectives, securing these team fight wins, and securing the Nexus explosions for Team Infernal. They might not have it right now as Rosethorn is alive. He has his ultimate. The death timers are rather short. It's only 28 minutes. I don't think Infernal are going to close out this game quite yet, leaving Cloud with a breath of fresh air. Maybe they can claw their ways back into this one, but that Soul is so brutal to have to go up against, especially with no tanks apart from your support.
What Tomio recently purchased, I didn't even catch it before the fight started. He has an Infinity Edge smack. He's got the 8 bullet crits coming out from these shotgun shells. If he gets in range, he's doing at least 1k damage on each auto attack whenever he crits. And he's already has 70%. This is nuts. Because he's just sitting on a crit cloak in his inventory on his last slot just to ensure that when he rolls the dice, he's always coming up heads.
Oh man. He has twisted the odds in his favor for sure this time around, Rafa's. Those crits are just brutal. That's not even taking into account that he has the Infernal Soul too, with 2 Infernal Dragons. So there's so much attack damage on this guy's. Otto trying to find the engage to destroy you, but it's Ezreal just so safe.
Oh man, Nas looking for the engage once again along with Otto. They have the Lance Respite to buy some time, but you just see the power of this Team Infernal. Anytime they try to force a fight, it's the quickness with the charm. It's the wild growth or the whimsy. Either or. It puts a stop in the tracks of Team Cloud trying to force a fight in their favor. And it just allows Team Infernal to make a little mental check here. It's like, oh, well, that's the Kali ult gone. That's the Leona ulti gone. That's the Kalista ulti gone. Okay, they got nothing. Not time to f him up.
And they're doing it to the Baron first here, Rafa. They're setting their sights on the big worm in the pit. Starting that one up. Oh, Sleep lands on a Rosethorn. I don't know if they can quite capitalize on that one directly, but still just pushing everyone in Cloud out of the engage range on this objective. Infernal really do not want to risk it at all, but doesn't look like Cloud do either, setting up their sights in the mid lane.
And Otto is just getting walked down by Shoryu at the moment. Sleeping Trouble Bubble lands onto Captain Shrimps, and I would say good night, but he's living with 10 HP! Two-shot barrage doesn't even hit him yet, but Andy Bendy might be able to turn the tides of here, but just as I say that, I take it back. Because Shoryu comes in with a double kill, and it's over the wall! A double for Tomio with the collateral damage. Just like that, Team Infernal. Don't find the ace quite yet, it's only Rosethorn available, but with an empty open base, an open inhibitor, they're going to walk down and take more objectives.
Tony Top and Shoryu at least are going to take this inhibitor. Minions are coming in alongside Shady. They might try to end the game. Otto is up now, Andy in 15. There is a window of opportunity for Team Infernal. They've got a ton of damage. They're going to try.
Well, Otto goes in. He's going to try to buy as much time as he can. Soul Flare does land down onto Tony Top, and Rosethorn is dealing some admirable damage. But what's the damage of a Storm Razor Rapid Fire Kindred against an Infinity Edge crit Graves? Double kill coming in from Shoryu as well, who's boasting a Death Stance and Iceborne Gauntlet with a fully stacked Mura mana. There's just too much damage. There's too much pain, and it's all going to rain in negativity for Team Cloud. Oh my god. The words don't do enough justice here, Smacks. Team Cloud, they tried. And it's definitely better than day one, but still, Team Infernal are just too damn good.
4 straight wins for Team Infernal. 4 straight series wins for Team Infernal, and just as many losses for Cloud. It wasn't it was definitely the result that we were expecting coming into this one just based on results alone. But Infernal, it just feels like they've only gotten better as the days have gone on, as the series have gone on. It just looks even more dominant from them. Another 2-0 for Team Infernal. And man, Mark, that game was all things Tomio. So many kills, so many crits on this Graves. I wish we could see the damage chart for that one because I'm sure his just off the charts, just through the roof. You know how it's a bar? His is going like all the way to the other side. It's just whoop off the screen.
If normally it is organized by role, but if for some reason he was in the middle of the slot, he would be giving the middle finger to the rest of Team Cloud right there. That's how big the bar of damage would be for Team
Yeah.
Infernal. But this is something that we were kind of curious to see if Team Infernal were willing to give the keys to the city, the keys to the carry city, the carry kingdom for Team Infernal on a roster of players that are all doing so damn well in their own right. I mean, we already saw game one, it was the Tony Top show. And this
Hmm.
time, he stepped down from that pedestal and say, yo, my champion pool is deep. It's got variety, it's got flavor. I'm pulling out the Lulu Top just so I can support Shoryu and Tomio to victory. And they pulled through. They put in the work. And when Tomio received all that income and farm, he delivered.
All five of these players keep delivering in their own ways for Team Infernal across all four series, Mark. I've just been so impressed by all of them. Absolutely floored. I cannot wait to see how these five players develop as time goes on. I am so confident in these guys after watching them play. Maybe just ship these five players as a team up to Academy, Mark. I want to see it. I want to see them continue to make waves as these five or just on their own because
Right.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Infernal. But for Cloud, they've still got two series to try to come back in this one. It's 0-4. It's definitely a bad start, but you've still got two more series, and you don't have to play against the undefeated Team Infernal anymore. You've got Ocean, and then you've got Mountain. I want to see some more improvements from them. I want to at least see some individual game wins from them too. We saw them get O2'd by Ocean. Let's try to get at least one win, maybe even close out the series for Team Cloud. We keep seeing some glimmers of hope left in them, specifically in the early game and the mid game. I'm talking Andy Bendy. I'm talking
Hmm.
Captain Shrimps. These guys have the mechanics to put in the work. Just want to see some more backbone come in when it comes to the structure of how the team plays as the game goes on. I think that would really elevate what Team Cloud is able to do. But for now, they take a fourth loss, and they've got to be a little disappointed about that one. But there's still time, guys. I know that these guys have got it in them, specifically Niles, specifically Andy Bendy, seeing these guys throughout the scouting grounds, and Auto too. Absolute pop-up performances all throughout the summer. I know you've got it in you, and I know that Rose Thorn and Captain Shrimps do too. So I am dying to see it. Please show it to me. I want to see it.
Definitely, please. And I'm fully agree with you, Smacks, on every single point. It's just they've got one more day to show up and finally make themselves at least satisfied with whatever performance they're able to deliver on tomorrow's last day of a normal group of regular play in this round robin
Mm.
before they head to Saturday for the last uh, finals. And, at this point, it does seem they're going to be playing for the third place spot. But that is going to do it for us, folks, here on the broadcast for this series. As always, make sure to check out the live stream at twitch.tv/academy or check out more VODs here on Lowly Sports VODs. As always, see you next time.